All right, you want to talk Juventus? Seriously. Not some bullshit watered-down version. We're going deep, folks.
Deep. We dove headfirst into their Wikipedia page. It's a wild ride, this club's history.
Like a roller coaster. A goddamn roller coaster.
Triumph. Tragedy. Enough scandal to make your head spin.
So let's cut the crap. This club is old as fuck, right?
Practically prehistoric. Kicked off in 1897. Second oldest club still kicking around in Italy.
No shit. 1897.
Yes, started as an athletics club, believe it or not.
An athletics club? What the fuck were they thinking? So were they rocking tracksuits back then?
Probably not. But funnier to imagine. And they didn't start with the black and white stripes.
Wait, so what the hell were they wearing?
Pink and black. Seriously.
Pink? What a bunch of pussies.
I know, right? They finally ditched that look in 1903, went for the black and white, inspired by Notts County, a team from England.
Guess they realized pink wasn't exactly intimidating. So when did these guys finally get their shit together and win something?
They tasted victory pretty damn early on. Snagged their first league title in 1905.
Not bad for a team that used to wear pink. But didn't they have some major drama? Something that led to their arch nemesis Torino being born.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Back in 1906, a bunch of members wanted to move the club out of Turin.
The fuck?
But the president, Alfred Dick, he wasn't having any of that bullshit.
What a dick.
So he split off with some key players and formed Torino.
So that's how the Derby della Mole was born.
That's it. One of the fiercest rivalries in Italian football.
All because some asshats couldn't agree on where to play. They created a feud that's still going over a century later.
Pretty much. Talk about holding a grudge.
Imagine the shit-talking at those early Derby della Mole games. Okay, let's fast forward to the era that really put Juventus on the map. The Agnelli family.
Oh, yeah.
These guys were like the goddamn mafia.
Minus the concrete shoes, maybe. Edoardo Agnelli, big shot at Fiat, took over as president in 1923, and that's when their reign began.
And they turned Juventus into a dynasty.
A fucking dynasty.
So we're talking total domination, trophies piled high.
Absolutely, racking up league titles like it was nothing. But there's one team from this era deserves a shout-out. The magical trio.
Let me guess.
Omar Siveri, Jean Charles, and Giampiero Bonaparte.
Those names ring a bell.
They were tearing up the pitch in the 50s.
So these guys were like the rock stars of their time. I bet they were pulling crazy shit off the field too.
Oh, I'm sure they had their share of wild nights. But on the field, they were pure magic.
So what about their contribution to the national team?
Huge! They were stars for the Italian national team too. Played a key role in their 1934 World Cup victory.
No shit.
Yeah.
So Juventus was basically supplying the backbone of the national team. The team that brought home the World Cup. Badass. But let's talk about their European adventures, the time they went full-on conquerors.
All right, buckle up. Things get legendary here. The 80s. Arrival of Michel Platini.
Platini, the French dude with the slicked back hair.
They were.
Wasn't he like the David Beckham of his day?
Exactly. And he was a beast on the field. He won the Ballon d'Or. That's like the Nobel Prize for football. 3 times in a row.
3 times in a row. That's some Michael Jordan shit right there.
He was that good. And Juventus is actually the first club ever to have players win that award 4 years in a row.
Really?
They were unstoppable.
Damn, that's insane. But hold on, wasn't there some dark shit that went down during this golden age? Something about a stadium disaster?
Yeah, the Heysel Stadium tragedy. 1985, it happened during the European Cup final. Against Liverpool, a wall collapsed. Crushed a bunch of fans.
Shit. How many people?
39 people lost their lives, cast a huge shadow over the entire sport, forced everyone to rethink stadium safety and crowd control.
A reminder that even when you're winning, some fucked up shit can happen. But despite that tragedy, Juventus still became the first club to win all 3 major UEFA competitions and the Intercontinental Cup.
They were on fire, collecting every trophy they could get their hands on.
Okay, let's jump ahead to the 90s. This is where Marcello Lippi enters the picture. The mastermind who led them to Champions League glory. What was his secret? Black magic. Bribery.
The guy was a tactical genius, knew how to build a winning team, motivate his players to achieve greatness. He had Alessandro Del Piero, Zinedine Zidane, Edgar Davids, a real dream team.
Damn, stacking the deck. No wonder they were winning everything. But wait, didn't this golden age come crashing down with that whole Calciopoli bullshit?
Yeah. Calciopoli was huge, rocked Italian football. Juventus was right at the center of it, accused of match fixing. shady dealings with referees.
So basically they got caught with their pants down.
Pretty much. And the consequences were brutal. Stripped of titles, relegated to Serie B, the second division.
From European champions to playing with the scrubs in Serie B, fucking humiliation.
It was a dark time for the club and its fans. But you know what? Even in the face of that shitstorm, some key players stuck with the team, like Del Piero and Buffon.
Wow. Loyalty like that is rare these days. Most players would have jumped ship faster than you can say transfer window. Yeah. So what happened next? Did they manage to crawl their way back to the top?
They did, and they did it in style. They won the Serie B title, clawed their way back to Serie A in just one season. Then Antonio Conte came in as manager.
When was that?
2011, led them to an unprecedented 9 consecutive Serie A titles.
9 in a row. Holy shit.
Conte, he was a master motivator and tactician. Plus, they had a new stadium, the Juventus Stadium, opened in 2011.
Talk about a comeback story. But of course, it wouldn't be Juventus without some more drama. Enter Cristiano Ronaldo, the self-proclaimed GOAT. What was the impact of that signing?
Ronaldo's arrival, seismic event, put Juventus on the global map like never before, and he brought his insane goal-scoring abilities.
Did he finally bring them that Champions League trophy, the one they're so desperate for?
No, unfortunately not. Despite all the hype and Ronaldo's individual brilliance, they couldn't get over that final hurdle.
So Ronaldo was basically a fancy ornament, all flash, no substance.
I wouldn't say that. He brought a lot of attention, revenue to the club. But yeah, they were hoping for more than just domestic success.
Okay, enough about Ronaldo's ego trip. Let's talk about those famous black and white stripes. Why the hell those colors?
You're not going to believe this. They started out wearing pink.
Get the fuck out of here.
But the pink shirts faded in the wash. So in 1903, they asked John Savage, an English player, to hook them up with new shirts.
And?
Savage had a friend in Nottingham who supported Notts County, a team that wore black and white stripes, and that's how those iconic colors ended up in Turin.
No shit. So those badass black and white stripes are the result of some laundry mishap. What a bunch of clowns.
It's a funny story, right? And now those colors are synonymous with power and aggression.
Speaking of image, what's the deal with their logo? It's more than just a scribbled J, right?
It's gone through a few changes. The current one, introduced in 2017, is a stylized J. They wanted a modern, minimalist look, represents the club's forward-thinking approach.
Sounds like some marketing bullshit to me. But what about those stars they wear on their jerseys? Aren't those for championship wins?
You got it. They were actually the first club to use stars to represent their league titles.
Really?
Yeah, they added a star in 1958 after winning their 10th title. And they've been adding more ever since.
So how many stars they rocking now?
Well, that's where things get tricky. They've officially won 36 league titles. But they had a bit of a spat with the Italian Football Federation over their 30th title.
What?
It was revoked because of that whole Calciopoli mess. So for a while, they refused to wear any stars at all.
Talk about stubborn bastards. Did they ever get that star back?
They did, but only after officially winning their 30th title again.
When was that?
In 2013-14. Now they're back to flaunting their star power.
Okay, one last thing. Where the hell do these guys play? I'm guessing it's not some rookie-dink park anymore, right?
You're right about that. They've had a few homes over the years. In the early days, they actually did play in parks. Then they moved to Piazza d'Armio, which was a proper stadium, before graduating to the Stadio Comunale.
Parks? Seriously? What a bunch of amateurs.
Hey, those were humble beginnings. Let's not forget that the Stadio Comunale hosted some legendary matches.
Okay, so they've moved up in the world. But didn't they build a fancy new stadium at some point?
You're talking about the Juventus Stadium, now known as the Allianz Stadium.
Why the name change?
Sponsorship deal. It opened in 2011, and it's a state-of-the-art beauty.
A stadium fit for kings. Or should I say a stadium fit for a team that thinks they're kings?
Well, they have won a lot of titles. Maybe they've earned a little swagger. So last time we dug into Juventus's history, right? The highs, the lows, the triumphs, and of course, the scandals.
Yeah, those sneaky bastards have a knack for finding trouble.
But this time, let's talk about the thing that really makes the football world spin.
Money.
Money. The lifeblood of the beautiful game. You know it. And Juventus, my friend, they know how to rake it in. Consistently ranked among the top 10 richest clubs in the world.
Top 10, huh? So, we're talking serious cash. That's the secret. Overpriced jerseys sold to gullible tourists, the Agnelli family fortune propping them up.
It's a bit of everything. They're a publicly traded company listed on the Borsa Italiana. Brand values through the roof. And those sponsorship deals, sweet, sweet cash flow.
Who are they partnering with? Give us the juicy details.
Think big names like Adidas and wait for it, Jeep.
Jeep, those gas-guzzling SUVs. Talk about a contradiction. Preaching sustainability while rolling around in those tanks.
Yeah, well, image is everything, right? Powerful club, powerful cars. Makes sense from a marketing perspective.
I guess. But let's move on to the players. Juventus has a knack for churning out some serious talent. It's not all about buying those superstars, is it?
You're right. Their youth system is a well-oiled machine. A whole academy dedicated to developing young players. It's produced some absolute legends.
So we're talking about kids with big dreams, training their asses off in those black and white stripes, hoping to one day step onto that hallowed turf.
Exactly. And it's not just about kicking a ball. It's about instilling that Juventus DNA. The winning mentality, the discipline, the passion.
It sounds intense. But hey, it works, right? These kids go on to represent Italy on the world stage.
Absolutely. Think Giampiero Combi helped Italy win the World Cup in 1934. Came straight from their youth system. Then there's Pietrava, Olympic gold medalist, World Cup winner.
Talk about etching your name in football history.
And those are just the early guys. You got Giampiero Bonaparti, Roberto Bottega, Paolo Rossi, all Juventus Academy products.
More recently?
Claudio Marchisio, Sebastian Giovinco, the list goes on.
Damn, those Juventus youngsters make their mark. So they've been supplying Italy with talent for a while.
Almost nonstop since 1924. Pretty remarkable consistency, right?
Definitely. Okay, enough about the young guns. Let's talk about the titans, the legends, the ones who made those black and white stripes famous worldwide.
All right, you ready for this? We're talking Omar Savori, John Charles, Giampiero Bonaparti, Michel Platini, Alessandro Del Piero, Zinedine Zidane, Gianluigi Buffon, and even Cristiano Ronaldo.
Holy shit. That's a lineup of gods right there.
And they weren't just playing for Juventus. They were winning trophies, breaking records, becoming global icons.
Let's start with Alessandro Del Piero, Mr. Juventus himself.
Can't talk about Juventus legends without him. All-time leading goal scorer, appearance holder, the guy bled black and white.
So we're talking royalty here. They should erect a statue of him outside the stadium, kissing the badge and all that.
He's definitely a club legend. And speaking of legends, what about Zinedine Zidane? That guy was pure magic on the ball.
Zidane.
Yeah.
That headbutt in the World Cup final was legendary.
Yeah. About that. He was known for his skills too, of course. Won the World Cup with France while playing for Juventus. A Juventus player lifting that trophy speaks volumes about the club's ability to attract and nurture top talent.
It's like they have a Midas touch. Everything they touch turns to gold, or at least trophies. Wasn't there another French dude, Michel Platini? Another total badass.
Platini, yeah, he was the maestro of the 80s. 3 Ballon d'Ors in a row led Juventus to European glory. Redefined what it meant to be an attacking midfielder.
All right, but we got to talk about Buffon. That guy was a beast in goal for, what, like a century?
Gianluigi Buffon, a legend no doubt, one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time, a one-club man for most of his career, dedicated to Juventus through thick and thin.
Loyalty like that is practically extinct in today's game. Players jump ship for a bigger paycheck faster than you could say transfer window. And then there's Ronaldo, CR7, the goal-scoring machine, the Instagram king. What was his impact, really?
Ronaldo, it was a media frenzy when he arrived, brought a level of global attention Juventus had never seen before, and he delivered over 100 goals for the club.
But did he win them the Champions League? Because that's what matters.
Yeah, that's the thing. No. Despite coming close, they just couldn't get over that final hurdle, the one trophy that continues to elude them.
So all hype and no substance, just another pretty face to sell jerseys.
I wouldn't go that far. He brought in a ton of cash, raised their profile, but yeah, they were hoping for more silverware.
Speaking of cash, wasn't there another scandal recently? Something about shady financial dealings.
You're talking about the capital gains scandal, broke in 2023. Accused of some creative accounting, shall we say, inflating player values, making their financial situation look rosier than it was.
So cooking the books,
Yeah.
like a bunch of mobsters hiding their ill-gotten gains.
Pretty much. And they got caught. Punishment was severe, 15-point deduction in the league, later reduced to 10, 1-year ban from UEFA competitions.
Damn. Talk about a slap on the wrist. Where do they go from here? They've been through so much. Scandals, triumphs, legendary players, financial turmoil. What's next for this chaotic club?
It's the million-dollar question. A club steeped in history. Passionate fan base. A real knack for bouncing back. But this latest scandal, it's shaking things up.
You think they can reclaim their spot at the top? Or are they destined to be a cautionary tale? A warning about unchecked ambition and greed?
Hard to say. They've got work to do. Rebuilding their reputation, regaining trust. But they've done it before. Wouldn't count them out just yet.
Okay, round 3, final bell. We've covered their history, their finances, those goddamn scandals. But what about their rivalries? The ones that make those ultras go fucking crazy.
Yes, the rivalries, the fuel that keeps the fire burning. Juventus has made a few enemies over the years, let me tell you.
So who are we talking about here? Who really gets under Juventus' skin?
First off, you got to mention Torino, the city rivals.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Born from that split way back in 1906, the Derby della Mole.
Pure up chaos.
Always. Powder keg of tension?
Aggression. Local bragging rights, huh? Nothing like a good old-fashioned brawl to settle the score. But who else are we talking about? Anyone else want piece of Juventus?
Well, there's Inter Milan, another classic, simmering for decades.
Oh, sir. Yeah, I can see that.
These two clubs have been battling for the top spot in Italian football forever. Their matches, electric.
A clash of the titans.
Exactly. Two giants going head-to-head, massive fan bases, hunger for victory.
No wonder those matches are legendary. Almost forgot, what about AC Milan? Another one of those historic rivalries.
Can't leave them out. AC Milan. Drama.
Yeah.
Intensity.
A real test of, what do they call it, tactical brilliance.
Right. And pure footballing artistry.
Okay, so we got Torino for the local pride, Inter for the historical rivalry, and AC Milan for the pure spectacle. But wait, isn't there another team?
Oh.
One that's been causing them trouble lately? Maybe I'm imagining things.
You're right. Can't forget about Napoli. Their clashes with Juventus have been getting pretty heated. Adds another layer to this Serie A landscape.
It's like everyone wants a piece of Juventus. They're like the popular kid everyone wants to take down. But let's talk about their fans, those hardcore Juventus supporters, the diehards. I've heard they're some of the most passionate, dedicated fans in the world. What's their deal? Is it just about winning or something more?
It's definitely more than just winning. For a lot of Italians, Juventus represents something deeper.
Deeper, like what?
It's a symbol of Italian identity, a source of pride, belonging.
So we're talking like a club that transcends football, a religion, a way of life.
In a way, yeah. Being part of something bigger, sharing the highs and lows, feeling connected to a club that embodies your values, aspirations.
Yeah, that's deep. But what about those infamous ultras, the ones always causing trouble? You know, flares, chants, banners, the occasional riot. They're just a bunch of hooligans or what?
The ultras. They're a complex bunch. The heart and soul of the club's support. Fiercely loyal, incredibly passionate. But yeah, their methods may be a bit overzealous at times.
Overzealous? You mean like setting off flares that could burn down the stadium?
Yeah.
Throwing shit at the opposing team? Brawling with rival fans like rabid dogs?
That kind of stuff. But to them, it's about expressing their dedication, creating an intimidating atmosphere, being that 12th man on the field.
I get it. Passion.
Yeah.
Even if it spills over into violence and chaos sometimes. That's what makes football so compelling. But let's wrap this up. We've explored the depths of Juventus FC, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Dominated Italian football, conquered Europe, weathered scandals, built a global following. So, final verdict. What does Juventus FC represent in the grand scheme of things?
Juventus. A reflection of Italian society, ambition, passion, resilience, contradictions. They're revered and reviled, admired for their success, criticized for their scandals. But one thing's for sure, they're never boring.
Damn straight. And that's why we love them, right? They keep us on the edge of our seats, screaming at the TV, constantly remind us why we're addicted to this crazy, beautiful game.
Juventus is a reminder that football, it's more than just a sport, a cultural phenomenon, national pride, a mirror reflecting who we are as individuals, as society.
Well said. All right, folks, that's it for our deep dive into Juventus FC. Hope you learned something new, had a few laughs, maybe even gained a new appreciation for this complex, captivating club. And if you ever find yourself in Turin, catch a match at the Allianz Stadium. Just be prepared for a wild ride, maybe invest in some riot gear.
Until next time, keep the passion alive, and remember, in football, anything is possible, especially if you're Juventus.